afternoon. Happy New Year. Welcome to Carrow Road, Norwich City's first game of 2023, taking place at 3 o'clock this afternoon. They welcome Watford here, and we will have, straight off the bat, the team news for you. And the headlines are that Liam Gibbs starts for Norwich City and that Cantwell and Giannoulis return to the bench. So Norwich City lineup like this: Gunning goal, Aarons, Hanley, Gibson and McCallum as a back four, Sarah, Nunez and Gibbs as a midfield three, with Ida, Sargent on either flank and Taylor Buki up front. The subs bench: Tim Krul, Andrew Omovamadele, Jordan Hugill, Kieran Dow, Todd Cantwell, Onel Hernandez and Dimi Giannoulis. No Kenny McLean from what I can see from that starter or that matchday squad, which is interesting. Paddy, your thoughts? Liam Gibbs comes in, obviously for McLean, who's absent. Todd Cantwell and Dimi Giannoulis return to the bench.
Yeah, well, McLean, we didn't have a designated touch points to clarify pre-Watford, so it was basically last touch point we had with Alan Russell was here after the Reading game, so that was Friday night. I've trained a couple of times since then. Has to be something fitness related. You don't leave McLean, whether you like him or don't, as a fan. Internally, very highly rated, very important, influential figure. So there's clearly a fitness issue there. We'll await post-match touch point with Alan Russell to clarify that. But roundabout way, Gibbs in and McLean out, I don't think that lessens Norwich. Certainly with the ball, because I think he's better with the ball than Kenny McLean. So if it's the same shape, thank you very much. If it's the same shape, as you would expect it would be, then I'm quite pleased. I mean, I was a bit concerned in that post-Reading press call that Alan Russell said they've done a lot of running, they'd obviously have to break down the numbers and the sort of sports science element, but then there might need to be changes as a result of that. But as it's turned out, in terms of the 11, just the one change, and I'm pretty pleased to see that, because I feared with Adam Ida, not played for a long period of time. He had that first league goal on Friday, but do you try and manage him a little bit and maybe dip him out, not his performance from the other night, but just in terms of managing a guy who's not been playing a lot of minutes? But no, he starts today, and he's alongside Pookie and he's alongside Sargent. So that's, again, a positive for all the reasons we spoke about prior to the game on Friday. And it's good. It might be shuffling the deck chairs a little bit, but it is good personally to see Cantwell in there. Because I think Dean Smith had still been in. We're led to believe that probably would have been the end for Todd Cantwell, and I think you've seen him depart in January. So whether in the current holding pattern there's a route back for Todd Cantwell, we'll see. But the fact he's on the bench today would indicate Mezers Weaver value him as what he could bring to the party. So, and I brought that out, and you've got Hugill, you've got Dowell and Hernandez, and you wouldn't really label Dimi Giannoulis as an out-and-out defensive option. So there's plenty of attacking options on that bench should they need to change it up. But I'm quite happy to see Liam Gibbs in there, because I think he was a little bit unfortunate to come back out the other night. I think he does offer something better than McLean in terms of in possession. What they might lose, of course, conversely, we saw it here on Friday, was Kenny McLean was very good in terms of screening the back four. And if, I've not seen the Watford lineup, but if Watford try and probe in those areas, in those pockets between midfield and defence, you're going to need a little bit of a defensively minded midfielder in there. And I don't think that is necessarily Gibbs, Zara or Nunez. So, there's a negative for no McLean, but for me, Gibbs in, I think, offers them a little bit more going forward.
Yeah, no Isaac Hayden in the matchday squad either, which is curious. I will bring you the Watford team news. They've got Backman in goal, and Dakia and Gasper, Keenan Davis, Craig Kafka, Ishmael Assar, Bakuna, Cabasele, Kalu, Serralta and Morris. 3 changes for them today. Their subs: Hamer, Trusticon, Asprilla, Bayo, Pollock, Hunko and Blake. So that is how they line up for their first game. They of course are in the midst of an injury crisis at the moment. No João Pedro, no Ken Sema, no Tom Cleverley, several others missing today. New signing Ismail Kone, which the name some Norwich City fans may remember from Norwich's pursuit of him in the summer. He is ineligible this afternoon, as is another signing whose name escapes me at this moment in time. So Slavan Bilic is really stretched in terms of the team that he can name this afternoon. Quite a few young players on the bench as well. They, of course, got beat 4-0 by Russell Martin Swansea on Friday, so don't come to Carrow Road in the best of Nick either. I'll just run through the Norwich City team again, because someone else asking for it. They line up with Gunn in goal, Aarons, Hanley, Gibson and McCallum as a back four, Gibbs, Nunez and Sarah as a midfield three, Sargent on the right, Ida on the left, Taylor Buki up front, subs Krul, Omovamadele, Hugill, Dowell, Cantwell, Hernandez, and Giannoulis. I mean, you spoke about Todd Cantwell there, Pat. It does feel like every time we speak about Todd Cantwell, we talk about the question we use is this the chance? Is this the fresh opportunity? I mean, the fact that we keep having to mention that at some point, he is going to have to take one of these, particularly with 6 months left in his contract now. He's technically, as of yesterday, free to speak to European clubs should he wish to.
He's not alone in that category. I mean, there's Mezzers, Byram, Dowell, Pookie, off the top of my head. I think there's one or two others as well. And Cantwell, is in that category. And, to repeat what I said, Dean Smith stays here. Todd Cantwell probably goes in January, I think, because the decision had already been made. But, whoever comes in, and we assume it'll be an external appointment, it is a clean sheet of paper, initially at least. And if you're Todd Cantwell, yes, you or your advisors can start to put those feelers out in an official capacity, but why not try and force your way back in here in the interim and put yourself in the shop window? If you feel there isn't a longer term future for you here, on a purely selfish level, do what's right for you in your career, and you're only going to really do that or catch an eye of a potential scout, head coach of a rival club, if you can get on the pitch first and foremost, and then show the ability that, frustratingly, we all know and have seen it before at this level and at the higher level, the first time round in the Premier League, but unfortunately, for lots of reasons, not all down to the player, it hasn't kicked on, and he'd admit that himself. He's been honest enough when he's done media earlier in the season. His career is probably not at the level or the trajectory it felt like it could be on by this stage. And he will take his share of the responsibility. But you're in the squad, so you're a step closer to the pitch. Who knows? The way the game unfolds today, you might get on the pitch, and then we'll see. But I think we'll probably park. Is this the time for Todd Cantwell? Because we've been here, as you say, Connor, so many times that.
It's up there as a question with, is this a season for Adamina? Those two questions are ones that we seem to repeat a lot, aren't they?
But certainly Adamina, as Alan Russell said the other night after that goal, a pure predatory type of striker's goal. He could be, I can't remember exactly what phrase, but it was essentially he can be a very top-class striker. He's got everything about him. He just needs to maybe stay fit now and have a run of games, because there's no doubt, and he showed it in that moment in front of the Barclay, that get the ball in and around the box, he will score you goals, and I think he'd score at a higher level as well, but he just needs a run now. So really interested to see how he kicks on again today from a major, almost announcing your arrival for the season against Reading on Friday.
Yeah, I mean, you spoke to Alan Russell on Friday night about this game, and I think what struck me about what he was saying was he spoke about how much of a different challenge it is, or should be today compared to what they faced against Reading on Friday night. Are you surprised, therefore, that he's gone with the same shape and kept kind of that attacking trio of strikers? I know they're not all playing strikers, but they did come quite narrow in possession. So is that surprised you, given the way he was talking about Watford on Friday night?
Well, I think what's probably happened in the interim, I mean, that was, as I say, to reiterate, immediately after that Reading game. He's not processed anything. He's still in that kind of bubble. His probably head was really still Reading focused, then looking forward to a game 2 days on from that point. But in the interim, he'll have gone back to Colney with Steve Weaver, with his analysis guys. They'll have debriefed it in terms of more forensically than what he felt, maybe watching it on the sidelines, and also the feedback from the players. If he was concerned about miles on the clock and whether those players would be able to go again, then clearly the feedback has been very positive. They, I'm sure, enjoy playing in a bit more of a freedom type shape, or at least a mindset to go and get on the front foot. And so, pulling all the strands together, they looked at it and felt, well, we were happy with many facets of what we saw on Friday night. Let those players go again if they're happy to go again in terms of the physical output. But as I say, with clearly what looks like an enforced change at this stage, with McLean coming out of the 18 entirely.
Just an update on that. Norwich City's official social media account have just tweeted that both Isaac Hayden and Kenny McLean missed out today through injury. So obviously we'll get clarification from Alan Russell after the game, but that is those two out of today's game with an injury, which maybe not. Well, Hayden didn't play on Friday. Did he come on? I think he did come on later on, didn't he? So that one perhaps a little bit more curious than Kenny McLean, but hopefully neither of those are long term, particularly with a new head coach on the horizon. And of course, I know plenty of people are asking questions about that and about probably David Wagner specifically. I would encourage everyone to go and listen to the podcast we recorded yesterday. You can find it on our website or on your chosen podcast player. I think if you listen to it now, you can probably squeeze the majority of it in before kick-off. I'm not quite sure you're getting all of it in. You might do, actually, if you're really, really quick. But just finally on this game, I mean, it feels like a big afternoon for Norwich City. It's what, 1 win in 8 now at home. It would be 1 win in 9 if they can't win here today. They haven't won at home since that Stoke City game in October. I know we've obviously had a World Cup break in between there, so that maybe feels slightly longer ago than perhaps it was. But in terms of the wider context of the table and what a new manager or head coach is going to inherit, if Norwich City can win today, get themselves back in the top 6 with an incoming head coach, that probably feels like a slightly more optimistic situation than perhaps the alternative.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the table now and you kind of say, see you later, Sheffield United and Burnley, and very hard on the evidence of over half a season falling away to the nature it would need to bring them back to the pack. So essentially, Norwich's horizons now are 3rd to 6th and secure a playoff place. And yeah, if they win today and results go for them and they're in the top 6, and they do press the button, as we leave it to believe is where they want to go with this, the next 24, 48 hours, sift through the final stages of the interview processes, and then make an unveil as soon as maybe Thursday. John Percy very well connected to certain individuals at this football club from the Daily Telegraph. He said Thursday was the timeline he was working to. So unless there's an 11th hour twist, I think it'll be by then. And then the incumbent, if it is an incumbent, has many things to crack on with, but fundamentally they inherit a squad who are in the playoff places, and then the challenge will be to cement that position and really start to extract what we all feel is untapped potential in this group of players this season, at least at this level, because what they'll need to do then is build and pick to get it right in those 2 semi-finals and hopefully a trip to Wembley and a repeat of 14-15 and 14-15, just to stop yourself under Alex Neil. And the parallels are obvious, making a change pretty much around the same time, galvanised that group of players. Didn't look like they were doing anything that season, but what a magic carpet ride that was, culminating in those playoff games here against Ipswich Town, no less, and then did a number on Middlesbrough. So the precedent is there. This club have done it before. Doesn't mean they'll do it again, but at least if they got a win today, it does again, with a decent performance, turn the page on the Nick Smith tenure and then give the incumbent who's coming in hope at the end of the week, that sense of, okay, hasn't been great, a change has been made, things aren't right, work ahead, but at least there's something to build on now. If they get beat again today, that Carrow Road run is what, winning 9, and they're outside the top 6, then, the mood music around this place will be pretty dispiriting, I would think, leaving the ground today. That's not really a sense you want for an incoming head coach to have to inherit, basically. They can have enough on their play as it is. Even a win today gives them something to cling on to in their build.
Yeah, absolutely. Big afternoon score prediction, very, very quickly.
Well, I went 2-footed into the optimism end of the pool the other night and said 3-1, I think.
I said 3-0.
Yeah, so I didn't want to do that. So I can see a draw, if I'm honest, but 1 goal. Norwich went by 1 goal, I think. Throw that one back to you, Connor. Where's your head at?
2-1.9. Yeah, but I think it's going to be tight. I can even see Watford taking the lead this afternoon. So let's see. Well, hopefully we see a bit more of the positivity that we saw in Carrow Road, and it's certainly in the stands in Carrow Road this afternoon. Norwich City's first game of 2023. It needs to be certainly a big half of the year, probably a big year in general for the football club, certainly in the current campaign. We will, of course, have full coverage of this game on Pinkin.com and on the Pinkin Plus app as well. Full analysis and reaction post-match 2. Happy New Year to you all. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you again very, very soon.